Hello, Aldwyn Altuney here, and we have a fantastic show coming up for you today. We have the amazing Kelly Kingston, known as the BizQueen, and we have a hot topic today. Kelly is coming to us from between Gold Coast and Brisbane from a secret location, and I'm coming to you from the Gold Coast. And we're going to talk today about how to become aware of unconscious contracts from birth so we can become more intuitive and know who we are and where we are going. Welcome, Kelly.
Oh, thank you, Aldwyn. It's the Biz Queen and the Media Queen.
That's right. And we both have our magic wands.
We do.
So we're going to whip up some magic today and share some magic with you.
Beautiful magic all over the planet.
Now, Kelly, you are one amazing lady, very inspiring. You've just put this phenomenal book out, Your Ultimate Wellness Business Guide, which we will chat about today. But firstly, I would love to hear about your story and how you actually got into business in the first place.
My gosh. So I got into business because I became a single mum and got out of a toxic relationship and really wanted to spend time with my kids, but really kind of do something that really lights me up instead of having to wake up early in the morning, take my kids to childcare and then go to work and then come home and then pick up the kids and you know, it was just chasing my tail all the time. And so many mums and dads and families do this routine daily, and I didn't want to do this anymore. So I decided to start up a home-based massage clinic with energetic alignment treatments, and I just did it. I didn't know business at that particular point in time, but I was just following my heart and my passion, and I just did it.
A massage is something that people always want, and you can't really replace a good massage with a massage chair, although massage chairs are pretty cool and robots are pretty cool and those little massage devices, but really having a human being massage you is a whole other story. So so that's awesome that you did that. And what about the business strategies you've developed to actually get to the point of putting this book out, Your Ultimate Wellness Business Guide? What is it that led to this book for you?
So being in a practitioner space in creating my own business is I didn't really understand business. And so 8 years ago, I met Graham, my partner, my love of my life. He's my rock. He supports me unconditionally. Like, it's just so amazing. He is an accountant and an international financial intelligence specialist. And he supported me in understanding what business is and what business, how business operates, what's the different functionalities of all the entities, what a business plan is and how we need that to work in our business to progressively stay focused, to have clarity, and then to have a direction so that you know where you're going. So it's like a roadmap. We all need a roadmap when we get on the road so we know what we're doing. They call them GPSs now. They called them CBDs before, where you just opened up at a page. So if we're not planning our road trip, we're going to get lost, aren't we? Like fully. We go down dead-end streets, we'll go on gravel roads, and we'll go, oh, my gosh, where the crap and where are we? I have no idea where we are. So when I went, and I'll just take it back just a little bit. When I grew up, everybody said business is so hard and it's so tough and you really need to know what you're doing to stay in business to be profitable. And then I always grew up with this mentality is that, oh my gosh, I could never be a business owner because business is so tough and so hard. But once I actually understand the fundamentals of business, and I had a webinar this morning explaining this exact same thing, is that there's so many people out there that, you know, are offering business advice and supporting people in business, and they're making their modalities just as complex as the governments and, you know, other high corporates in wanting to display or support business people who are business owners. And so I shared my book on this webinar, and people are going, oh my gosh, that just seems so easy. How did you make this so easy? I'm like, well, business wasn't meant to be hard to begin with. It's meant to be easy. And, you know, it's just the flow. So once I actually understood business and how they made it so complex and so hard, I then just pulled back the layers, and I've just gone, well, that doesn't need to be there. 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 Pulled it all back and then put it back, brought it into alignment, and then went bang, 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 done. Changed the definitions from a business terminology to a spiritual terminology in how to understand business. And it was just done. It was easy.
That's awesome. I absolutely love that, because, you know, some people say business is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. And if you can simplify it for people, you know, maybe we wouldn't have 80% of businesses failing within the first 5 years, and then another 80% of those failing in the next 5 years. You know, the stats are ridiculous on how many people don't last in business. And, you know, one of the things with that, I think, and, you know, something I've been challenged with in my business is actually scaling and letting go of parts of the business. So what advice would you give to people out there that might be, you know, struggling a bit in business on their own, or, you know, doing way too much yourself, you know, where you...
Absolutely. I think there's a name in there. There's a new book that's been written that says Aldwyn Altuney. Oh, you're so funny. So, scaling your business. So the best thing about my book is that you can be in startup phase, you can be in 3 years into your business phase, or you can be 10 years into your business. Pick up my book and it will support any aspect of where you currently are in your business, wanting to understand where you can bring back into alignment, bring other products in, upscale. And in the back of the book, Aldwyn, is a checklist. And the checklist supports different aspects of where you're currently at now to where you currently can be with cash flow projections. And so I'm just going to show you here. So there's tick the boxes, tick the boxes, tick the boxes. So if you're wanting to take your business to the next level, what do you need to do and how do you need to do it to get there? So it explains it in step-by-step, detailed and processes.
Fantastic. That is brilliant. Keeping it simple for the creatives and those that maybe control freaks, right? They say there's a lot of control freaks in business. So learning to let go and let God, or let, you know, see, the thing is, you know, I know, but personally, I've been a bit of a perfectionist with what I do. And, you know, I tend to get very frustrated when I outsource work, and, you know, I find I have to repeat myself 2-3 times sometimes, or people, you know, just not getting the instructions. They say they do, but then it's clear they don't. And, you know, stuff like that can happen, and it can be very frustrating. But now I'm at the point where I think, well, at least it's getting done. You know, even if it's at 80% of what I would do it in some things, I'm sure that assistants can also bring other things to the party that you wouldn't think of. So it's about building the right team, right? And I know a lot of businesses are challenged with this, how to build the right team. So what would you suggest for someone, you know, looking for that?
So building your right team, you need to know when you get people on board that they're suitable for that role. So some people go, oh, yeah, no, I've been doing this for 10 years. But when you actually profile them, they're actually not meant to be doing that role, and they're just going from one job to the next job to the next job because they're coming up and they're hitting resistance in whatever areas. So the first thing I would do in bringing people on board is definitely profile them and make sure that the position that they're going into your business is the one that they're profiled to, or otherwise they're going to get bored really, really easy. You're going to train them up and they are not going to be the right person for that job. So therefore, guess what? They're not going to be there for very long. That would be my first step.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, and so then the next step is putting in your business a unique operating system. So every area that you're wanting to have somebody take over to support you in your business, you need to have a unique operating system, a step-by-step process that supports the flow of the work that you're wanting to be done. in whatever area. And then underneath we have descriptions of how you can elaborate further from that step-by-step processes, so that there's no second guessing that, okay, this is how this particular thing is needed to be done in this area of my business. I want you to take over this explicitly, because and all the details and information are there for you.
I like it. Very, very cool. And, you know, business is not something that we're born great at. You know, it's something that we all have to learn, right? It's kind of like the social media world. You know, people come to me and they want, you know, social media strategy training, etc. And, you know, social media has only been around 15 years. I mean, business has been around, you know, since the beginning of time, but it's something that we need to learn, right, in life. And how has that process been for you, that learning journey? Has it been a tough road for you, or have you found there's some areas have been easier than others, or how's that journey been?
Yeah, so I believe that different areas of my business have been challenging, and some have been really easy. It's like in my book, I have the step-by-step processes, and each chapter has an aspect of what you're about to embark on. So it's we're going to do the vision for the business. It's awakening your vision to roll out what you want for your business. So we already know. Okay, we already know that what our business is, what our mission is, what our vision is. We're just awakening the processes from inside of us to bring it out, so that we can start to live our passion, which in turn is our purpose.
Yes, so, and getting into flow, right?
Yeah.
Understanding your strengths.
Absolutely. Your SWOT analysis, understanding your strengths. We turn weaknesses into challenges because we don't want to make it negative. You then have your opportunities, and then you have your threats. So, and threats is not a threat where you have other competitors in your business. Threats is more of, you know, what do you find more challenging when you're in business? And the biggest one is technology, keeping up with, you know, how technology rolls out. You know, we were having a talk the other day, Aldwyn, about Zoom and different platforms, like this is StreamYard and Skype and all the different platforms where we can go live on. They're the challenges. Which one is going to be the best one for us, not necessarily for everybody else? And just working that out, and everything is in my book that supports every area.
Yeah, very cool. It is an amazing book, I must say. And you launched it in such a unique way with your progressive launch. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, I can. I would absolutely love to, Aldwyn. This is the fun part. See, I am a creator profile, and if somebody tried to put me in a supporter profile, I would be okay at a supporter profile, but I wouldn't last very long in that area. So my creative genius with the beautiful Tracy Horton was I needed to launch my book over COVID, and I did not know how I was going to do it. And then Tracy and I sat down and had a meeting one morning, and at the end of our 4-hour meeting, 10 minutes before it was about to finish, Tracy goes, I've got it. And I've gone, oh, got what? We'd covered so much over 4 hours. She goes, I know how we're going to do your launch. And I said, how? And she goes, we're going to do a progressive launch. And for anybody that knows progressive dinners, progressive dinner nights, I just like go, oh my gosh, that is so amazing. That's outrageous. And so then we ended up making, putting our own spin on it during progressive book launches in luxurious homes for people that wanted to be exclusive with the author. And that's where it started. And now we're doing a progressive magazine launch in 2 weeks' time with the beautiful Christine Innes. And then after that, we've got 2 other authors, but they're going to be a surprise. And we're going to do some competitions to see who can guess the next one, and a whole heap of different things.
Awesome. And I was at your progressive launch, and I absolutely loved it. What an amazing event. I must say, I've never been to anything quite like that before. And you had some beautiful gifts for everybody there as well. And you had food all along, and you did it in a convertible, was it a Mercedes, convertible Mercedes.
Yeah.
Dare I say BMW? I was like, which one was it? It was a Mercedes. like the
So we
Fort
did
Hold'em
everything in style. So everybody's house that we went to, it was a luxurious event, and we wanted it to be luxurious because when you're birthing something and you're bringing something, that you've been holding on to and co-creating, we wanted to be able to support you and introduce you to the world so that people can see you in your genius and your flow and your passion that you're wanting to get out to the world. So it was just amazing, and we love the model that we've created and being able to support business owners, people that have just finished writing a book, anybody that's putting together a magazine, anything, real estate. We've actually had some inquiries about a real estate agent that's wanting to get their exclusive homes and do progressive real estate launches at these homes so people can sit in the homes if they're wanting to do it as an investment property or buy it for themselves. So we're just getting creative with it, Aldwyn, having fun.
It was great. So with your event, you had 3 different locations. So can you explain just how it actually worked through the day? So there was the convertible, and then what happened there?
So we started at my house, and then we had 3 locations, one for brunch, one for lunch, and one for dinner. And so brunch was at the back of Burleigh Waters in the country, and we had a beautiful home there. And I had, how many women? I think there was about 12 women at that first event. And then that went for 2 hours. And then at the end of the brunch, we then drove to lunch, which was near Paradise Point. And we had, I think, eight women there. That was for a more exclusive lunch. And then we were there for 2 hours. And then we had the last venue was my home, where my mum was my host. And it was so special because it gets my mum involved in seeing how passionate I am about who I've become and the business that I've created. And she then gets to have the opportunity to understand why I've done what I've done, other than general conversation, of course. And then I had some more beautiful women. I think we had 10 women here at nighttime for a beautiful dinner and a sharing. It was amazing. And then we did the bonfire in the end, and you'd know all about our bonfires, Aldwyn.
Yes. That's where it all happens, around the bonfire. Yeah, that was amazing. And for people watching this that don't know where we're talking about, we are talking about between the Gold Coast and Brisbane. So each of these locations is about a half-hour drive from each other. And so it's not too much time on the road, but just enough time to get some wind in your hair in the convertible and enjoy. And, thankfully we had a great day with that too. So
amazing.
It was just a really, really unique way to launch something, and a wonderful way to bring people together. And of course, the COVID restrictions had lifted just before your birthday at that point too. So you're able to have just a certain number of people in each venue. And of course, you'd need to check if you're going to do this moving forward, obviously, how many people you are allowed to have in each venue at each time. But it was an intimate gathering and lovely connections between the people that attended. So that's a really wonderful business you've created with Tracy. And yes, and so if anyone is launching anything, if you're watching this now, you've got something you're launching and you want a unique event like this. Are you doing this all over Australia, the world? Where are you going with this?
So we are, Tracy and I were actually just talking about that on Monday, that we've decided that we definitely want to do it around Australia. And then once the international restrictions lift, we will definitely be doing progressive launches around the world and taking beautiful women into the countries where their best ideal clients are, that they want to get in front of their ideal audience. And that's our job. So our job, Tracy's job, is to get the people that come to us that are launching a book, a magazine, a business, whatever the case may be, and get them in front of their ideal clients. We have 3 different packages. We have a do-it-yourself package where we actually support you, but you pretty well much do everything, the catering and everything, all on your own. We help you manage that process. we support you in letting you know, well, this needs to be done, and the frameworks around that. Then we have the second one where we do it for you, and you say, well, I have a budget, and this is my budget. And then we have the luxurious, off the chart, off the planet not a program, a host. I don't even know the word. I don't even think we've created a word for that one yet, Aldwyn.
Well, you do it all for them, right? Your big
yeah. Well, we do it everything for them. They say, I want to be picked up in a summer, or and these are my 3 hosts or my 5 hosts, and then we do everything for them.
Fantastic. So people could do a breakfast, a morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, dinner, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. We can probably do 5.
5
a day. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 max. And having healthy food on the journey was really great too, because you didn't feel sluggish at all. So, and it was it was mostly vegetarian, wasn't it? There was some meat there, but it was a very healthy selection of food for those that are either vegetarian or not. And you had an amazing lady that you're working with there.
Yeah, so we're working with Luna Joy, and she's just launched her business called The Foodium. So that was really, really awesome.
The Foodium, love it. That's cool. And now it's an interesting topic that we've brought up today that we're going to talk about, and that is right here at the bottom of the screen for anyone who hasn't seen it, how to become aware of unconscious contracts from birth, so we can become more intuitive and know who we are and where we're going. I know it's a big topic, and now you've had a very interesting past around contracts as well, Kelly. I don't know if you want to touch on that here.
No, not really. No, it's not something that I only offer that to my exclusive clients, and only make them aware of that when they are wanting to embark on my services. But I'm not doing that as a general rule. No.
Yep. Okay, so unconscious contracts, what is that?
So an unconscious contract is, oh my gosh.
From birth. How to become aware of unconscious contracts from birth.
So when we are first born, our parents register us with our birth certificate. And so the contract that we embark on from that perspective is our parents, obviously, they have to take control of a situation where they register us, and then give us a name and a title and everything else. And then when we turn 18, they hand the birth certificate over to us so that we can actually then go, okay, this sheet of paper is me, and now I need to have photo identification, or 16, depending on whether you're a student card. So the unconscious contract is when you say that piece of paper is actually you haven't actually signed a registration form to actually say, well, this is actually my birth certificate because it's got my name on it. Well, it's actually not your birth certificate as such, because your parents are the ones that registered you for birth. So it's actually their birth certificate that they're giving to you on behalf of them. And the unconscious contract is that nobody knows that. So when we then embark on different aspects of our life, like wanting to go and get a bank account, and we hand over our birth certificate, the birth certificate is actually a bond. It's a financial instrument that has value, and I'm not going to go into it at great lengths here. And if people want to do some research around this, they can go in and do birth certificate bonds in the search, and they will find a plethora of knowledge around what a birth certificate bond is, and it elaborates much, much more, where I'm not going to do this today. But that is an unconscious contract that we are not aware of, because somebody else took control of that situation, because we weren't able to, of course. But now that we're getting more responsible and we're wiser, and we want to educate ourselves more in being responsible with our journey here on life, we need to know what has been withheld from us from a governmental perspective on them saying, well, no, this piece of paper is you. Well, that piece of paper is not you, because you here, you and me, Aldwyn, are the living, breathing blood entities that create a business, that create our life to be who we want it to be. We create friends so we can form friendships. The piece of paper is just exactly what it is. It's a corporation piece of paper that is they use the word strawman, okay, because that's exactly what it is. It's just a piece of paper with writing on it. And so that's an unconscious contract.
Interesting. And, there's a whole rabbit hole you can go down with this topic, and it's very, very fascinating to actually find out more about this. And I do encourage people to question everything that they hear and do your own research to make up your own mind. And so in becoming aware of this, we're saying here with this topic, so ideally you want to become more intuitive as a human being, to become more powerful, right? Yeah. Know who you are and where you're going. So what are some tips you can give people around that?
Okay, so some tips you can create to be more aware and more in tune with yourself is to really start to embrace loving yourself on all aspects. There comes a time in your life where nice one. We need to love ourselves. Where we're taught so many different things that, if you love yourself, you're gay or whatever. And who cares? There's two different definitions of gay. There's, the two same-sex genders loving each other unconditionally, or there's, look at the kids outside. They're at the park and they're very gay. They're having fun and they're prospering. And so when we are in tune with who we are, and we are authentic, and we are in alignment, and we are walking our walk and talking our talk, the vibrations of our voice expel spells, because as we speak it, so it is. And when we can be totally truthful to who we are and really just be, because when we can just be and not judge or have too much of an ego or cause harm on anyone else, there's this dis-ease that sits in our body. Okay, and it can be a energy, or it can be a thought or something. But when you have that dis-ease in your body that you can't shift for whatever reason, you can't be intuitive. There's no possible way. I've tried. And it just didn't work. It was unauthentic. It was the processes we need to go through in life to really know who we are and where we want to go. And you can't half-ass do this stuff at all. There's no half-ass doing anything once you want to be in alignment with who you are, be in tuned, and really tap into who your true genius of why you're here and what you want to do and who you want to do it with.
Beautiful. And dis-ease, of course, there's often emotional issues at the heart of this, like Louise Hay shared in her Heal Your Life book. Yeah. So if you do have dis-ease and you're watching this, then I suggest check out Heal Your Life. And there's affirmations you can do around this as well, which are very powerful. And, I guess as human beings that we are multi-layered, life ideally, should be simple. It should be simple and flowing, but we tend to make it complicated as human beings, and and we think we complicate things. And some people love drama. Some people are addicted to drama, and we see it in mainstream media. We see a whole lot of drama, and it's like people are conditioned to be this way and to live in fear. Whereas when you come from that loving space, when you have that love for yourself and for others, it's amazing how powerful that is when you shift your vibration and your energy to a loving space, as you talk about in your book, right? Shifting, going up the levels. it's about vibration, about energy, isn't
Yeah.
it? On how you do life. And the higher you vibrate, you attract people on that frequency too, which is very exciting, and opportunities start coming your way, right?
Absolutely. So with the book, when I work one-on-one with people, I actually support them through the mantras. And if people are just going and just going to Amazon to buy my book or to the bookstore, they won't get my mantras. Only people that want to work with me one-on-one or at my retreats will get the mantras. And so with the mantras, we support through the 5 basic elements of creation, which is spirit, air, fire, water, and earth. And those 5 that you can then say that you have equally balanced throughout your life in every single way, whether it's, your spirit, the air that you speak it, the fire that raises the energies perspective, the water consumption that we drink, and the earth that grounds us. When we can say that we're truly balanced in that space, and you can really feel the vibrations from all the elements coming through into your beingness, then you have unconditional love for all that is, which is yourself and everyone else, external, internal, as above, so below, as within, so without. And then you can then go into that balance is unity, and that you are then unified within your whole beingness, and so it is. And it just is, because it's just being. And when we can just be, there's really nowhere else to be. And that, does that make sense, Aldwyn?
Absolutely. So the power of now, as Eckhart Tolle said, the power of now, and the power is in the present.
Absolutely, totally is.
Because it's all, life is moment by moment, and it's about appreciating the moments and being able to silence the monkey chatter in the brain, which meditation is really good for that. Do you have a meditation practice?
So I do different types of meditation practices, and I do mantras, and I do grounding, and I do smudging, and I do honoring. I've got a pyramid. I sit under the pyramid, and I do intention settings. And I don't do, I do one particular one, and that's a song that I sing when I'm feeling really flat, or there's a huge energy that's coming through, or something like that. And that's, supporting every cell in my body to make sure that it's happy and in alignment for where it is now. So I then visualize myself, being a cell and being happy and joyous, and just really, really sending every single bit of energy of love to every part of my body, which therefore supports me in my external living.
I love that. That is so cool. And, I did a meditation last night, actually, with a guy called Anthony Gole, I think you pronounce it. Gole, yeah, I did a meditation with him last night. And, he mentioned that our heart beats 100,000 times a day, which is quite extraordinary, which we don't even think about, right? Unconsciously, we're breathing, and, our heart's pumping 100,000 times a day. And we did this visualization where we put love into our body, and, and that appreciation for your heart and for your body, and picturing white light. And it was just a beautiful meditation, and very, very powerful, because they say, that hurt people, right? So loving yourself is really, really important.
Yeah, it is.
And recognizing where you might be self-sabotaging. There's people, for example, that come to me, they want media coverage, and there's all this fear that comes up for them. And I think some fear is natural, but when you're having a challenge, you're just about to move through something, and you're going to be learning something and growing through that challenge. It's like the caterpillar turning into a butterfly. It needs to go through that cocoon. It needs to struggle its way out of the cocoon so that the blood fills its wings, so that it can turn into a butterfly and fly. And there's certain challenges we do need to go through ourselves to go to the next level. So in your life, Kelly, what are some challenges that you have moved through personally, and how have you come through them?
So different areas of challenges where I'll use one just recently where my children are going to school and not wanting to go to school because they say that they're not learning anything for whatever reason. Okay, they're just bored, and the old paradigm of way of learning is just not supporting our creative kids in different areas. So I've had to find alternative schooling for my children, which has been extremely challenging for me, being a conscious mum that really wants to support the best space for their journey, because they haven't had a very good experience in the education system, and I know that in different areas of other mums' lives, they're experiencing very, very similar experiences as well. So that's probably one of my biggest challenges right now, as a mum and as a businesswoman. And the other one was, not understanding business. That's probably my biggest one, over and above my family and my personal journey, was overcoming that huge challenge. And I've researched, Aldwyn, every aspect of, how to understand business, or, what does that look like, or what does it sound like, or who's my best person, without going to 3 different people and paying them $20,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 to know whether I needed to work with them or not. So creating the book and having that at a really low point entry for people to really understand what business actually really is, that was my biggest challenge, but I've overcome that now, because now I am the author of the book.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And how many kids do you have?
I have 4 children, 2 stepchildren, and 2 granddaughters.
Amazing. And you look so young. It's unbelievable. You must have started really young. Obviously legal.
No, I didn't. I was 26 years old when I had my first son.
Okay. Amazing. And you have amazing children. I've met some of them there, and they, it's amazing what you've done. And you do live the healthy lifestyle at home too. You're always well, not always, but in the kitchen doing a great job with with some of the amazing things you whip up, and having a healthy lifestyle and healthy mindset. How important has that been for you to move through life in a peaceful, flowing manner?
Do you know what? It was probably one of the things that I had to really learn fast on my journey, because, I never was really much of a bad eater, because I really love food and I loved home cooked food. But when you're out about with kids and stuff like that, racing around, you go, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten yet today, or I've just missed lunch and it's 3:00 and you're picking the kids up from school or something like that. And then they go, oh, can we just pop into Macca's, or can we have a KFC burger, or can we have Subway, or whatever that was. And I didn't think twice about it. I really didn't, going to McDonald's or Hungry Jack's or anything. But then once I started to understand about the moral ethics of these corporations and what they're actually doing behind the scenes, and then the ingredients that is in the food that we're eating, I was just blown away. Like, you don't know what you don't know, right? But you don't know what you don't know if you don't research it and find out why, people are living an unhealthy lifestyle, or, working tirelessly and whatever the case would be. And I really, really, really love cooking, and I love being in my kitchen, and my kitchen's a big kitchen, and I have a big stove, and I have big benches and everything, because once I get cooking, everything comes out, and you just like, oh, okay, and a little bit of this, and and a little bit of this. Oh yeah. That tastes good. and so wherever I go, I take food with me everywhere, and people just go, oh my gosh, we don't need to bring much because Kelly's going to bring it all. And that's not because I don't love anybody else's cooking. It's just because I just love going, here, Aldwyn, I just made this cupcake this morning. Would you like it? And then watching your face where you go, holy shit, this is the best cupcake I've eaten. That's what I love. That's what I love. And then I put so much love into what I do when I make the food that it can't not taste nice, honestly.
And the cupcakes, I must say, just on that point, those cupcakes you made were unbelievable, and they were healthy too. It was so yummy. I would say probably the best cupcakes I've had. Amazing.
But, you know, it doesn't take much. Once you actually learn the different styles of cooking so that actually you know that you're eating really good food, then it's just a normal thing.
Yes, it's wonderful. And I guess that would be probably a great tip to give anyone who is homeschooling or who wants to be energized at this time. If you are feeling down, you know, due to COVID or whatever's going on in your life right now, if you're buying the propaganda, then, you know, interesting times ahead for you. But anyway, it is important that
let's just say how it is, Aldwyn. Let's just, you know, put it out there.
So what I can say is after 36 years of being in the media, I can tell you there's definitely hidden agendas going on out there. And I think it's important, if you are watching mainstream media and believing everything that you see, I do recommend that you actually don't believe everything you see and actually do your own research, particularly if something is being bombarded again and again and again and again in the media, like we saw with 9/11, like we've seen multiple times in the past. And then there's other stories that have surfaced that haven't been in the mainstream media. So what I can say on that point is thank goodness for social media. Thank goodness that we can research now, and we have more than Encyclopedia Britannicas to research.
Absolutely. I tell you what, one of the best advice I could possibly give somebody is do your research. If you are feeling like, this isn't working for you, the old ways of doing things isn't working for you, or you want to do something new and, put a twist on it or make it unique to you, do your research. And don't second guess yourself, because if it's coming to you, it's coming to you for a reason. And reach out to other people that can support you in doing something amazing.
You know, when COVID came about around March, when I started to hear the news on it, in my gut, I just felt there's something not right about this, about what is going on out there. And in my gut, I felt a prompting to go out like never before with my business. I started the How to Gain Free Publicity during COVID-19 webinars. I launched a brand new version of my Mass Media Mastery program. And I thought I really want to help people share their truth, get more good news out there, and help shift the way that we are doing life. Spread more love, spread more peace, kindness, compassion. I started a Global Good News Challenge, and in any depression or hard time that we've had in the past, there's been more millionaires created than ever before. There's been a whole lot of opportunities that are there, right? And so it's a matter of, are you going to seize the opportunities? Are you going to pivot in business? Are you going to do things differently? Because you have to now. There's new times we're moving into, right?
Totally.
So if you don't, you'll stay behind.
Exactly. And you can reuse content, you can do so many different things that supports you where you are currently right now. You don't have to go and create a new workshop or have a live event or whatever the case may be. Just get creative with what you have. And there's so many tips and tricks out there. All you have to do is Google. Like, Google is one of my best friends.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. What about for people who might have lost their way during this time, or maybe they don't know what they want to do moving forward, or they don't know what they're really passionate about, or what their purpose is? What would you suggest with someone like that?
So when I was in that stage of my life, or when I started journaling, so when we don't know who we are or where we're supposed to be or what that looks like, the best place to start is grab a notepad, those big A4 notepads, and a pen, coloured pens if you're a creative soul and you want to just see colour and brightness. And then hold the book in your hand and then go, what is blocking me right now, and how far back do I have to go? And close your eyes and just intuitively feel into that, and then go to that space and start writing. Start writing what is coming to you, that you have lived that experience, because as you're writing, you're releasing. And we need to release the old to bring in the new, so that you can then best be supportive to you. And then once you're actually in tune with yourself, you don't second guess the next move that you're about to make. So that's the first place that I would totally suggest anybody that is going through a rough period in their life to start journaling, and just journaling. And my experience was journaling for 64 days, which is nearly 3 months. No, 2 months. Something like that. Anyway, 64 days is the lady that supported me when I was going through this rough time. She said, do it for 64 days and then reflect. And if you feel like you need to keep going, keep going. If you don't feel like you don't need to, then you can then stop. And I stopped at 64 days because I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And as I was writing, I was actually writing about the food that I was eating, that I was putting into my body. So then I was conscious of what I was putting into my mouth, everything that I was drinking, and make sure that I was drinking a lot more water and not so many cups of teas, glasses of wine, and all that kind of stuff. And then I would also write the people that made me feel good about myself when I was around them. So then I eliminated toxic relationships that were in my life at that particular point in time as well. So it's a process, and it's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen if you stick to it and you're consistent and persistent. They are my 2 words. You need to be consistent and persistent in what you're wanting to do to move forward, and don't let anything stop you or anyone.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. And as for finding your passion, I often suggest to people, what do you do that you love so much that if money wasn't an issue, you would be doing that thing?
Yeah.
If money wasn't an issue.
What I do right now.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd change. If I got, let's say, $5 million overnight, somebody handed it to me, or I won it, or I worked my butt off to get it, I still don't think I would change anything in my life right now.
That's awesome. And that's a great way to be. And they say when you found your passion, when you love what you do, you never have to work another day in your life, right?
Absolutely. So, and I don't think my business is work. I love what I do, and I connect with people, and I support people, and I guide people. And, if I wasn't working in my business, I would do that through food and through, having people over at my home and nurturing them and supporting them and loving on them, and going down the back and having a bonfire, or sitting on the back veranda, or in summer going for a swim in my pool. All those types of things, I would not even question that. That's just what I do, and I love it.
So important to love what you do. And your book really is amazing. And I love this. What frequency is your business vibrating at? What frequency? So how can people know what frequency their business is vibrating at?
Okay, so inside the book there is a Hertz graph. I'll just find it for you now. That sits there like that. And that on one side it has the chakra system, and the other side it has the business planning system, and then next to it has a Hertz frequency chart. And so depending on where you feel you're vibrating with your personal self on your journey, and then where your business is at the different levels, you can then align. The old thing where you used to mix, I think it was mix and match, and you had to draw a line from the dog to the dog bowl, and the cat to the cat bowl, and then the rabbit to the rabbit hole, or whatever. So I've used that analogy to bring fun into business planning, and going, okay, so I'm here and my business is here. So there's a misalignment from here to here. So I now need to come down a little bit to do some business planning. So then we're raising the vibration of our personal selves and our business self at the same time. And then when we finish my book, your ultimate wellness business guide. What frequency is your business vibrating at? You're both vibrating at the same frequency, so there's no misalignment, so that you can then be your best version of yourself to step into your business and live your true purpose and really, really thrive on what passion you have to give to your ideal client.
Oh, I love that, Kelly. That is so, so cool. And on the back of your launch as well, you launched a online program as well, didn't you? So would you like to share a little about that?
So the online program, it was the 13-day business challenge. And so we have the 13-day business challenge once a month starts on the first Monday of every month for 13 days. And you reserve 1 hour a day to work on your business, so that after 13 days, you then have a perfectly aligned business that supports your purpose and passion so that you can thrive in business.
That is fantastic. That's brilliant. And we'll share some links shortly. We've got about another 10 minutes or so on this interview. If you're watching this right now and you have any questions, feel free to pop into the chat. We'll be able to see your comments. If you have any questions for Kelly or myself, please pop them in. So what does the future hold for you, Kelly?
So I have a retreat coming up in October with the beautiful Tracy Horton. We've decided to put a 9-day retreat together for people that are really wanting to be action takers and really step into owning who they are and where they want to be and what that looks like for them in their business. So Tracy does the first, Tracy and I do the introduction on day one, and we then have got exercises for people to really step into their heart and leave the rest of the world behind them. We've got meditations, we've got grounding tools, all sorts of different things. So day one is all about immersing, just coming into you and owning every aspect and really stepping in and just being, so that when you hit day two, Tracy's program, which is called Cell G, and I won't say too much more about it, but it's all about coming into where you have those internal issues in your tissues, so that you can then release these aspects of self that no longer serve you, so that when we then get to when I do the facilitating for your business, you're not bringing these old patterns of where you once were into your new business, because a lot of people bring their old baggage and limiting belief systems and a whole heap of other things. And we don't want that for our clients, because we want people to take action. We want people to have clarity so that they can have a direction and so that they can stay focused in their business. Because if we don't have those three in alignment, that's when we go looking for the next shiny thing. And when we go looking for the next shiny thing, we don't stay in our lane, and then we hop into another lane that we are then taking from other people, which is a big no-no in business. You need to stay in your own lane. You need to walk your walk, you talk your talk, and preach everything that you're doing. And you know, there's no competition. People say there's so much competition, like there could be 50 massage therapists, but you know, those 50 massage therapists are all vibrating at a different frequency. Some may be a very, very similar frequency, and some people are maybe a little bit more introverted, some may be a little bit more extroverted. I would tend to go to the extroverted people because that's my frequency, and I want to have a little bit of a chat at the start of my massage. And everybody has their own unique style about doing something. If you can really tap in and own that, there's no competition, because people will resonate themselves to you. So there's no competition at all on the face of the planet, only when you're doing a running race, which, you know, it's up to the individual whether they want to do that or not.
Yeah, and whether you're competing with yourself on, beating your previous best score or whatever. But, there's another great quote around that when you're on a mission, there's no competition.
Yes.
And, yeah, I love that. And I got that from Ben Harvey from Authentic Education. Thank you, Ben, for that one.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben. When you're on a mission, there's no competition. So looking back at your life, Kelly, like just as if you're talking to a younger version of you, what advice would you give a younger version of you on how to make the most of life?
So what I would say to my younger version of self would be, don't let other people define you. So many people, when I was growing up, being from a little girl, saying, you know, you're dumb, you're stupid, you'll never amount to anything. You know, I never read my first book until I was, I think, 32 years old, from cover to cover, because I was never taught how to read properly, even through the schooling system. And so people used to say, you know, if they wanted me to read something out loud, it would be like, you know, the cat sat on the mat and then it stood up to drink milk. And that's how I was never confident, because nobody taught me confidence. And I didn't know that you could be taught confidence. I didn't know that you could actually be confident without being taught confidence. So don't let other people define you. Really, if you want to do something, do it because you want to, not because somebody else wants you to do it. That would be the main thing.
That is great advice. I love that. Absolutely love it. Wow. Well, we've covered quite a bit of ground here. Anything else you'd like? Anything else you'd like? We could chat for ages, you and I, Kelly. We always get along famously, and I'm so glad we've connected. You're one of our amazing light workers, I say, the light workers in the Mass Media Mastery Program. We've attracted some phenomenal people, and all out sharing their truth and sharing their light and love with the world, which is awesome. So I'm very grateful for you and grateful for the connection. Any other words of wisdom you'd like to share with our viewers?
Do you know what? It's just a matter of, you know, really just tuning into you, and if the things that you learned in the past are no longer serving you, it's okay to change them. And, you know, it's sometimes hard to change old patterns and the way that we were told to do that. But I say just 1% a day, 1%. If you could just make 1% change in your life to become the best version of yourself, then do that.
Yeah, I love that. That is so awesome. And if people want to get a copy of your amazing book, your Ultimate Business Guide, where can they go?
They can go to my website, www.wellnessbusinessacademy.org, and then on the tab up the top, it'll say book. Click on that, and then you can go and buy my book.
Yay. And how much is your book, for those wondering?
So it's $48.88.
I love the figures. That's Australian dollars, right?
Yeah, that's Australian dollars.
Australian dollars. So in US dollars, that's about $2 US. No, that's it. No, sorry.
You're funny. So for anybody internationally that's watching that, you can just go to Amazon and buy my book from Amazon, and anyone in Australia, they can just go to my website.
Okay, fantastic, brilliant. And progressive launches, if anyone wants to do one of those.
Yeah, so they can go to our Facebook page, Progressive Launch, or they can go to our website, www.progressivelaunch.org as well.
Brilliant. And you also have the Business Today show, Business Today show, isn't it? Business Today show, which is awesome as well. So, where can they go for that one?
So that's by invitation only. So I don't have that on any of the websites. I just pick absolutely extraordinary people from around the world and interview them.
Okay. All right. That's invite only. All right. So people need to be in your vicinity, I guess, be in your proximity to get any other opportunities like that.
Absolutely.
That sounds brilliant, Kelly. Well, you are extraordinary. Thank you so much for joining us here today at Media Queen TV. It's always a pleasure. You're so inspiring. And, you know, I think there's a lot of wisdom we've shared here today that hopefully people are have enjoyed. And if you have enjoyed this, then please like, comment, share. Also, I'd love to hear, and in line with the Global Good News Challenge that I started last month, I'd love to hear what you're grateful for. So for those watching this, either watching the live or the recorded version, please pop into the comments. What are you grateful for, and what is something you've learned from today's show? What is some wisdom you can share back with us about something you've learned, and install that even more? So what are you grateful for today, Kelly?
So I'm grateful to you, Aldwyn, for having me on your show today. And I'm also grateful to my beautiful husband. He's just a ray of sunshine and supports me where no person has ever supported me in my whole entire life. And I am extremely grateful to him and my family. And I'm extremely grateful for the rain that we've had, because we planted veggies and herbs, and now they're just like, woo, going everywhere. So that they get to be used in my beautiful cooking, so that it gets spread more love.
Oh, that's awesome.
What are you grateful for, Aldwyn?
I am grateful for you, Kelly. You're extraordinary. So grateful for you. I'm grateful for this platform, for StreamYard, to be able to stream to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. I am grateful for a beautiful 90-minute walk I had on the beach this morning, and ocean swim was absolutely stunning. And yes, I do swim in winter on the Gold Coast. I'm one of those crazy people that swims in winter. And yes, it's exhilarating. And if you know about the Wim Hof method, it's actually very good to have 2 minutes of cold water every day, whether it's a cold shower for 2 minutes or whether it's 2 minutes in the ocean. It's very, very good to boost your metabolism. Yeah, and it's been amazing. I've absolutely loved it, and I'm very grateful for all of my amazing friends and colleagues and my connections on social media. And if there's something I'd like to leave you with, is at this time, please be kind to others and please be kind to yourself. I think that's really important at this time. I've seen a lot of heated discussion going on, even some cyberbullying going on social media, and there's no need for it. There's no need for rudeness. So here's to being kind to yourself, being kind to others, because hurt people hurt people. So if you're being nasty to someone else, just check in with yourself. Where are you hurting, and where can you do some healing? And what final words of wisdom would you like to leave with us, Kelly, today?
So I really like your saying, hurt people, and that, you really need to tune in and support people and just be kind, because kindness has a rippling effect. So if you're kind to somebody, then that person's going to be kind to somebody, and then the other person's going to be kind to somebody. So it just brings so much joy to so many people's lives. So I'm going to follow in your footsteps on this one, Aldwyn. Just be kind.
Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely love that. And I love that, the ripple effect. Absolutely. You just never know who you can impact with your story, and who you can impact if you've been inspired by this, watching this right now. If you're inspired, then please do share what you're grateful for, share what you got out of this, share the video so that your friends can also be inspired, and so we can lift people's spirits up in the community. Because the fact is, there's certain things we cannot control in the world, and one of those is COVID, right?
Exactly.
It's like a brick, and some people and others have smashed through that brick wall and making the most of the opportunity that is currently there. So it's all about what you're going to focus on too. Are you going to focus on the dramas, or are you going to focus on the opportunity moving forward, and on pivoting and shifting how you're doing things if something's not working for you right now? How can you get in flow, and how can you do more of what you love, and move forward with that, so that you're happier in your life, and then that happiness spreads to others around you. Thank you once again. Thank you, Kelly. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And please do support Kelly. The book is amazing. Check it out. Your Ultimate Wellness Business Guide. There's nothing else out there like this book, I must say, Kelly. It is a very unique creation.
It is. There's nothing like it on the face of the planet. But thank you, Aldwyn, for having me. You're absolutely remarkably amazing. You have this vibration that is just so heart-centered. You light up people's lives, and you are just one of the most amazingest women, and I'm so glad and grateful to have you in my life. I really am.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I appreciate that. Oh, it make me cry. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Yeah, look, it's I have had some really dark times in my life, and I think when you've been through really dark times in your life, I think you appreciate life even more when you come out the other side. And I think it's really important to recognize and acknowledge, how far you've come in life. If you're at this point in life, everything's brought you to this point, right?
Yeah.
And follow your intuition, as we're talking about here. Follow your intuition, and if you need support with that, obviously, Kelly is here. She's got this amazing book that can help you with that. If you want to know who you are, where you're going, then connect with Kelly and tune into yourself. And if it feels right, do it, and be kind.
Do it and be kind.
Do it and be kind, and remember to shine bright and light up all those around you. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Together we can all make a difference.
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Kelly. You rock. Thank you. Have a beautiful day or night.
You rock.
You rock.
Bye.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye.